This is our round coaster kit. And I'm your instructor today. This is Juanita Canzoneri. I'm also the owner of Kismet Mosaic. So your kit will include 2 blue shop towels. These will be used in grouting. A vinyl glove, glue, 2 stir sticks, grout, your coaster base, and a selection of tiles. So the first thing you want to do is take the lid off your glue, and with the scissors, you're going to cut that little nub off the very top of the glue bottle top. And that will allow you to use the glue that's in the kit. In this kit, we've got a large round that's actually going to go in the very center of our piece. I'm going to take my glue, which as you can see, the tip is missing. And I'm going to put some glue, and shake the glue down to the tip, put some glue right there in that center dot, and position a penny round right there. Next, I want to take my rounds, which if I'm lucky won't roll off the table, put a line of glue around that center tile. And I'm going to put about 10 little round tiles all around that. I don't want them touching because I do need space for the grout, and I don't want them to crowd that center. You can see I don't have a whole lot of glue, but I have enough. And it doesn't look like I'm going to get another tile in there, so I can go ahead and spread these out just a little bit. Then I'm going to come around and do the outside while I'm working with the little rounds. And I don't want to I don't want to put the glue all the way around at this point, but just do maybe a quarter of it at the time. You want to put as much glue out as you can fill with something within the next 30 seconds or so. And I want the tiles to come all the way to the outer edge of the board. I don't want them to sit over that, because at some point in its life, somebody's going to come along and knock that off. And then I'm going to have a hole there because that tile will just fall off once that glue is dry if it's not completely positioned on the board. And you'll notice on these tiles, one side is a little bit bumpy. That's actually the back of the tile. You want those bumps because there's more surface for the glue to sit into. So you'll notice I'm putting them all with the flat side up. That includes the center round as well. Now it gets a little harder to glue because I've got stuff on. I can't maneuver the base as easily as I could before. And if you find that it's frustrating you, stop, let the glue dry, and then come back once the glue has set, and you can continue working. Never, never, never work while you're frustrated, because that emotion transfers into your work, and you don't enjoy it as much. And honestly, mosaics are too much work to not be enjoyed. If you don't enjoy the process, don't do it. That's my motto. That and never invest more in try learning a new trick than you can afford to throw away. All right, we're almost all the way around. And if you are very compunctious about the axis and the lines crossing in the center and everything, you are welcome to get out a little tool and measure and get that all the way you want it. I am not that, well, I am detail conscious. I'm not that detail conscious. So our next row in, as you look, right, we've got 2 rows in the middle. The one closest to the center is a row of little squares, and the row closest to the outer edge is alternating triangles. So now you can work both at the same time. You can do one at a time, however it suits your desire. I have 2 different finishes in this project. With the triangles and the penny round, we have gloss finish, and with the rounds and the little squares, these are actually 8mm squares, they are iridized. And this is not the same for all of these coaster kits. The shapes will be the same, but the finishes may not. Now, you'll notice that I don't have glue all over the back of some of these tiles, and that's okay because the glue that I do have is going to be enough to keep it in place, and then the grout is going to help to just shore it in there. The grout has actually no adhesive properties, but it does keep things from falling apart. Why am I doing both these inner rings at the same time? Because I want to make sure I have enough space between both of those rings so that they're not pushing on each other and they're not too far apart. I don't want it to look like this one ring is way out of an ellipse and the other is it's kind of squishing into the outer ring. So I'm going to continue on, and then when I'm finished, I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've got everything glued down, and I have discovered that my triangle pattern is not quite matching up, so I'm moving things a little bit together so I can add in an extra tile in there. And just kind of moving things about. I have a couple of minutes to do this before the glue gets too set. Actually, I have about 5 minutes. And I have my cap back on my glue. And you may have noticed as I was working, I had it laying down. That's so the glue gets back to the tip easier. So I'll be back with a grouting demonstration. We won't be grouting this particular one, but you'll get the feel for how to mix the grout and cleaning up and all of that fun stuff. Welcome back. Now that we've got the base of our coaster complete. I have waited about 24 hours or so for the glue to dry and set up, and nothing's falling off. So now we want to grout. I'm going to take your bag of grout and a plastic cup or paper cup that has a wax coating on the inside. Anything disposable really, because we want to be able to throw this away when we're done. And I'm going to take half of my grout and put it in the cup, because if I don't mix this exactly right, if I get it too wet, I can add more grout and so on. So I'm going to add a little water. This is room temperature. You want to use room temperature or cold water. Hot water will cause it to set up more quickly. So here we go, mixing up this little bit of grout, and it is a little wetter than I would like. The consistency I'm looking for is smooth, not chunky. I want it about the consistency of creamy peanut butter or mayonnaise. So spreadable. There we go, a little bit better. And you really don't need all the grout that I've given you in this kit. So we should be okay. So now that I've got this mixed up, you can see I can spread this. It's not really how I want to apply it, but I could if I wanted, if I were that fastidious. I'm just going to take all of the grout out of the cup. The glove that we've provided you is for your dominant hand. And we're just going to smooth it around. We want to smoosh it into all of the grout joints. And if you don't have enough, we have more that we can mix up. So the popsicle sticks are your mixer sticks. So I want to get it in between all of the tile. And I'm not using the whole of my hand, I'm just using the pads of my fingers. Then I'm going to clean my glove a little bit by just taking it along the edge and knocking little bits into those joints that are along the edge of the coaster. I don't really need to cover the edge of the board. In fact, if I have a large chunk of grout on the outside edge of my board, it will eventually fall off. But I do have to get it on the board in order to get it in between the joints. That's just part of the process. Then I'm going to take a paper towel. And let me move this out of the way so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm just cleaning the grout off of my gloves, just the bulk of it. The color is still going to be there. Move this out of the way. And then I want to take up this piece of newsprint or whatever you're using. Newspaper works fine, newsprint, scrap paper, something you can throw away. Because the next part of this, I'm going to take my blue shop towels. And that is literally the brand name, Shop Towel. I like them because they're quite durable. I'm going to fold it up a little bit. I want a smooth surface, and I'm going to just rub it against the tile face. Then I'm going to take a cleaner surface and do the same thing and keep going at it until I've got majority of the grout off of the face of the tiles. At a certain point, you will start to move more grout onto the tile than you're actually removing. That's where I like to stop and then come back at it in a few hours, the next day, with the other blue shop towel that I have not used, or another clean surface on this one if I have used both for some reason, and just keep polishing away until all of the grout haze is removed.
Let me see. I have a different one here that I did the other day. So you can see there's a little bit of black on this one, so I'm just going to rub at it. This is part of our St. Patrick line. There we go. And you can see there wasn't a lot of haze on there, but what was is now gone. So then you want to clean up your area, obviously, because I don't need the rest of this grout. What little there is, I'm going to throw that away. I don't want to throw away grout until I'm sure I'm finished with it. And then the rest of this just goes in the trash. And anything that's on my work surface, I can just clean up with a damp cloth or a dustpan and brush, depending on if I'm going to be eating off of it in the next few hours. So thank you so much for your time. This has been Juanita with Kismet Mosaic.